49% of top executives have never used the AI they fund. Half of the executive leading AI strategy right now have never opened the tools they are funding. That is not a guess. That's an IBM research. And yet the strategy presentations continue. The confident language continues. The boardroom certainty continues. Today, we are talking about why that happens, why it not only happens, but what it costs your organization and what honest AI leadership actually sounds like. False certainty, real consequences. Here is what nobody is naming out loud. Leaders are speaking confidently about AI tools their teams have never touched. Strategies are being built on platforms nobody has actually used. And organizations are making real decisions based on certainty that does not exist. That is not a technology problem. That is not a training problem. That is a nervous system problem. And the consequences are not abstract. Wrong investments, wrong timelines, talent decisions built on assumptions that nobody has ever tested. I'm Sahar Andrade. I am a Neuroleadership Coach, Forbes Coach Council member. I work with executives, CHROs, and government leaders on the neuroscience underneath the leadership, not the strategy, the nervous system driving the strategy. And this is what I keep seeing. The brain hates looking incompetent. Here is what most people get wrong about this. They think leaders fake AI fluency because they are arrogant or lazy or simply do not care enough to learn. That is not what is happening. When a leader feels exposed, the nervous system does not treat it as a learning opportunity. It treats it like a threat. The same circuitry that fires when you are in physical danger fires when your status feels at risk, status loss, competence doubt, public exposure. They register in the brain exactly like survival threats. And here is what a nervous system does when it detects a threat. It protects. It produces the appearance of certainty. It uses confident language. It references AI tools in meetings without even admitting it has not logged into one. Because admitting the gap feels more dangerous than hiding it. I had a conversation recently with a senior leader who had been championing her organization AI transformation for over a year. She had been in every meeting. She had been approving the budget. She had spoken about it in company all hands. She told me quietly that she had never actually used the tools, not once. She said, I kept meaning to, and then it felt too late to admit I hadn't started. That is not a character flaw. That is a nervous system in self-protection mode. The prefrontal cortex, where honest self-assessment and long-term thinking live, goes offline when the threats circuitry takes over. The leader is not choosing to deceive. Their nervous system is choosing survival. The team knows, by the way, they always know. They do. Now, here is where it gets actually costly. Every decision your team makes, it's downstream of what you signal. Not what you say, what you signal. If you perform certainty, your team mirrors certainty. They do not raise concerns because the leader has not left room for concerns. They do not slow down because the leader appears confident. They do not name the gaps because the gap has been erased from the official narrative. And the team knows. They almost always know. A leader can perform fluency in a meeting, but the team watches every day. They see who asks real questions, who deflects. They see who actually engages with the tools and who never opens them. They see the gap between what is being said and what is actually happening. And they go quiet. Not because they agree, because they have learned that naming the truth is not safe. Truth erodes in silence, not in conflict, in silence. The standard response to this is training, leadership development. Bring in a workshop, give everyone an AI tool license, call it an adoption program. But you cannot train your way out of a nervous system response. If the leader is operating from threat, the training produces performance without understanding. The team learns how to say the right things in the room. The gap between talk and reality gets wider. And the organization keeps investing in a foundation nobody has actually stress tested. That is what my brain, BRAIN framework addresses at the root level. Regulation before strategy, always. Naming the gap is not weakness, it's safety. So what does honest AI fluency actually sound like? Not expertise, honesty. 3 things you can start with this week. First, name the edge of your knowledge out loud. I'm learning this along you, with you. 6 words. Those 6 words do more for organizational trust than a dozen confident presentations built on things you have not tested. When you name the edge of your knowledge, you give your team permission to name theirs. Information flows, real problems get surfaced, real solutions get built. Second, separate what you fund from what you use. If you're funding AI tools you have never opened, set 30 minutes this week, not to become an expert, to have a real conversation grounded in actual experience. Your decisions downstream of that 30 minutes will be fundamentally different. Third, make it safe to not know. In your next team meeting, ask real question. A real question. Not a rhetorical one. A question you do not know the answer to. Like watch what happens in the room when the leader demonstrates genuine curiosity over performed certainty. A regulated nervous system can tolerate not knowing. A dysregulated one cannot. That is not a leadership philosophy. That is biology. Tell me in the comments, have you ever been in a room where the leader was clearly performing certainty about AI? What did the team do? I read every comment and I want to know what you observed. The most dangerous words in an AI meeting are not, I don't know. They are, of course, we're handling it from someone who is not. If anything in this video landed for you, that is not guilt. That is information. Your nervous system knows the difference between performing certainty and building it. If you want to understand where your nervous system is in all of this, book a leadership clarity call. 30 minutes, no pitch, clarity. The link is in the description. If this was useful, subscribe. I put out neuroscience-based leadership content every week for executives who want to lead from the inside out, not just from the outside in. I will see you next